Hi folks, today I have 4 good news for Sony shooters, for the Sony A1II and A1 owners, and for the future Sony A7V owners, because it's confirmed that the Sony A7V is a dynamic range king at low ISO, matching medium format cameras, because Bill Clough from Photos to Photos redid the test with the noise reduction off on the camera and the results are the same. And about the A1II, I have a hint about the future firmware updates with some screenshots, so that's what I got today. And the A1 owners got a major firmware update, which is stunning, so you have plenty of new features. But before we talk about all of that, a quick reminder to first of all like this video to help my YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button to not miss of the upcoming rumors. Let's kick off first with the Sony A7V because I have a couple of updates. First of all, finally, after 8 days, you can pre-order the Sony A7V also at Amazon US. So in the description box below, I have the links to all the pre-order links, and now the Amazon link is working. So if for some reason you didn't want to pre-order BH Photo or Adorama, we were waiting for the Amazon link. It's active now. Click on it. And the good news is that if you pre-order now, it's confirmed that you will get the camera before Christmas. That's what's written on the pre-order page from the A7V. The second good news is a bad news for haters, because as you know, 2 days ago, I reported that the Sony A7V was the new dynamic range king in the full frame world, matching the medium format cameras like the Fuji GFX102 and the Hasselblad X32. But that test was done with noise reduction on, so people were complaining now those are not real results, we're comparing apple with oranges and so forth. It created quite a backlash and a ton of also hate. You know how socials work. It's not a good place for peaceful conversations, but anyway, Bill Clough redid the test with noise reduction off on the Sony A7V, and basically everything is confirmed. The dynamic range is stunning on this camera at low ISO. It really is among the best cameras on the market, on par with medium format cameras, and basically the best in the full frame world. This is an impressive result because it means Sony somehow made a magic trick with the new partially stuck sensor. We were all waiting for the partially stuck sensor to be subpar compared to normal sensors, because that's what we learned from previous tests about the Lumix S1II and the Nikon Z6 III that both have partially stuck sensor but 24 megapixel. Sony made a miracle. It's really impressive what the Sony A7V is capable of doing in mechanical shutter. In electronic shutter mode, you have a penalty just like on any camera. So that's why I love personally mechanical shutter. You don't have the artifacts, you get the maximum image quality. Electronic shutter still have those limitations on any camera model. But there is a big rumor coming for 2026 when it comes to Sony, because there will be something very interesting on the sensor front. Hint, hint, sorry if I always hint you, but I'm not allowed to talk about this. That's what the source told me. He gave me the info, said don't share that info, but there's something spectacular on the sensor front coming from Sony that you should really, it's a reason for you now to subscribe, because you don't want to miss that news, okay? So the Sony A7V is a great camera. Again, when it comes to stills photography, the camera is excellent, best image quality, low ISO. And high ISO, medium ISO is on par with the best. 30 frames per second electronic shutter, 10 frames per second in full RAW in mechanical shutter, pre-capture. So I think for stills photography, this camera is a beast compared to other cameras that cost 2 times or 3 times more, like the Sony A1II and so forth. When it comes to video, the 4K quality is allegedly from the early testing one of the best in class. Yes, you miss open gate and some other minor features, but the core features are stunning. So pre-order the camera now, also on Amazon. In the description box below, you see the Amazon link. Okay, what else did we get this week for Sony? The Sony A1 got a firmware update with the usual big stuff that now Sony adds on any camera. So check out the official firmware page where you have the full list of improvements. This is a big firmware update, so if you have the Sony A1, you will be happy. Now let's talk about the Sony A1II, because I got a curious leaked image of a future firmware update for the Sony A1II, and the same source also claims to know what's coming after that firmware update. So there will be basically 3 firmware updates coming for the Sony A1II in the next months. The first one will be the version 4.02 that will add the new white balance algorithm of the A7V. We know the A7V has this AI-driven white balance algorithm that really works. I saw some comparisons, so white balancing is top-notch. That same feature should be coming with the Sony A1II firmware 4.02, and there is a leaked image where you can see that somebody in China has this firmware on his A1II running. I don't know how he got this firmware, but that's the leak, so I think it's legit, but yeah, this is a first-time source, and he's in contact with me. He told me this. Let's see. He also said there will be then further another firmware update 4.04 that will add burst shooting mode like the Sony A9 III, surpassing the 30 frames per second, and maybe unlock the support for CFA 4.0. This is where I have some doubts, particularly the CFA 4.0. I think there is a hardware needed to support 4.0 cards, so the full speed, to get the full speed. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is not possible. Let me know in the comment system if you know more about it. From what I heard, you can use the cards, they have the 2.0 speed, but you would never get the full 4.0 standard max speed because the hardware is missing in the camera. But again, I would be surprised. Also, the source says maybe. I don't know. Then also surpass 30 frames per second. That would really be a big feature. I don't know if it's possible. I guess it's possible, but let's see if this is going to happen. Now, another info from the same source, he said then down the road, late 2026, we would get a firmware update 5.0 for the Sony A1II that adds 4K angle of view priority like on the A7V in order to achieve oversampled 4K 60p recording with small crop, and the crop ratio now is still unknown. The source also said he cannot guarantee that we really get those three firmware updates separately. Maybe Sony will decide to merge two firmware updates or all three in one, but he was using 4.02, so I think this is coming pretty soon, and maybe the 4.04 and the 5 will merge into 5, so maybe that's still not completely decided according to him, so we have to see. If you know more about this, but also have rumors about the next camera and lens announcement from Nikon, Canon and so forth, because there will be many announcements in January and February. Contact me using this email address and contact form. And again, feel free to subscribe to the channel because there will be a ton of rumors coming, particularly after the Christmas time, because in January and February I know already there will be big announcements when it comes to Sony, Canon and so forth. And as you know, in late February we have the CP Plus show, so many companies do usually start to announce new gear between mid-January and then max mid-February, so there's plenty of stuff coming. Folks, that's it for today. See you very soon.